Prime Minister Narendra Modi has accepted Donald Trump's offer on the trade talks. Donald Trump has offered that in the next few weeks, the conversation around trade will happen between India and the United States of America. This is something that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has now accepted. Good friends, Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will they have a trade talk very soon? That's something which everyone is very keenly looking at. It is Prime Minister Narendra Modi who has now responded to what the US President Donald Trump has said. US President Donald Trump very clearly in a statement said India and the United States, they have had good relationships, and owing to that relationship, it seems like the trade talks will resume in just a couple of weeks from now. My colleague Pranay Upadhyay is now joining me on the story. Pranay, this is good development which is coming in. If we speak about India, we are already looking at November. That's what the Commerce Ministry is hoping for. And we also understand that Jason Miller has been in the United States, has been having a conversation with the US President Donald Trump. So this is also something that India is very keenly looking at. Can you hear me, Pranay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you repeat your question, please?
Pranay, we are now seeing, the softening of stance that is happening now. The first statement coming in from US President Donald Trump, he's saying that both India and the United States have had good relationships, a doubling down of sorts we are seeing. And now we are seeing the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also responding to it in a professional manner. We see India is not going overboard, but it seems like there is some headway, some middle path that India and the United States are now looking at.
Oh, indeed, Aishwarya, if you see India's approach and the way India dealt this issue, this clearly indicates that, how whenever there is a problem in a relationship, what do? You try and minimize the differences and you try and maximize the consensus. And this is what India has been doing as far as the relationship is concerned. You see, of late, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has responded to the positive remarks made by US President Donald Trump. And this is for the first time US President Donald Trump has clearly mentioned that India and United States are very close to conclusion of a bilateral trade agreement. The barriers are being removed and they are being discussed by the either side in last many months. The kind of statement made by US President in terms of India being termed as the highest tariff putting country and how there are issues. But if you see in various his remarks, he mentioned Prime Minister Narendra Modi as his good friend, India as a partner country for the United States, and of late, if you see that there has been there's widespread discussion and there have been many questions being raised from the Trump administration and as far as the India policy of the Trump administration, that why a partner country like India is being alienated the way India is being targeted in terms of the statement, in terms of the tariffs. India still exists in the highest tariff category, announced by the US President Donald Trump, which is 50%, and that has its own impact, and the impact is currently being felt by the US economy because the tariffs are being paid by the US people and those the US importers. So definitely, I think I see this as a rapprochement from the either side. Both US also want, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also responded to the remarks made by US President Donald Trump of late. If you see, a few days ago, President Donald Trump said that I don't think so that we have lost India, and yes, there are some differences, but those differences will be solved, and India will remain a key partner for the United States. And after that, now the statement made by US President Donald Trump in his Truth Social post, wherein he said that both India and United States are engaging with each other, and he hope soon the conclusion of these bilateral trade talks, as well as he also expressed the hope that he will be talking to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to whom he referred as his good friend, in coming weeks. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also reciprocated and responded to those to the positive gesture made by US President Donald Trump. What is happening here, Aishwarya? Here that there has been a back channel talks. Both sides were engaging with each other, and the differences are being minimized. That how both sides can move forward, because here we still have time. the bilateral trade agreement deadline, which was set as fall of 2025. So like October, November, we still have few weeks to conclude the bilateral trade negotiation. And what I've been given to understand that almost 90-95% the trade things were solved when they got stuck, because India has certain red lines in terms of the agri products, in terms of the dairy products, the fishery products, and there are certain things which India cannot give in. And as you know, that President Donald Trump is a hard negotiator, but he is a deal maker. This is what he calls himself. So I think he is willing to make a deal with India.
Right, Pranay, willing to make a deal with India, that's something that we are very keenly looking at. You were also speaking about the fact that this is not the first time that we are seeing, the Indian Prime Minister responding. In fact, since the 6th of September, we are seeing a change in the tone. Since last week, we are seeing positive statements coming in, both from the United States of America as well as from India. In fact, Prime Minister Modi responded, and this is something which is very important. The first statements, Pranay, are coming in from the US president. And now we are seeing Prime Minister Modi responding to it in a measured way, because India still very, very cautious, because already we are bearing the brunt of the 50% tariffs that have been levied on India.
Absolutely. If you see the policy of U.S. President Donald Trump, there is an element of unpredictability in it, and he takes very frequent U-turns. So that's why India has reasons to be cautious about it. But yes, there are reasons to respond to the positive statement made by U.S. President Donald Trump, because as I mentioned, that in a relationship, whenever you face a roadblock, whenever there is a rough patch, what do? You try and maximize the points of consensus, and you try and minimize the points of differences. So here, this has been an approach by India. If you see, the Indian leadership did not respond to any of the negative remark made by U.S. President Donald Trump or the Trump administration senior officials. But whenever there has been positive statement, be it 6th September onward, the statement made by U.S. President Donald Trump in a press conference where he said that India is a partner, key partner for the United States, and he doesn't think that he has lost India. Though he said in a Truth Social post that I think we have lost India and Russia to the deepest, darkest China. This is what he said. But within few hours, he made a turn, and thereafter, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also responded to that statement, made by U.S. President Donald Trump, wherein he said that he completely agree with the U.S. President Donald Trump that India and United States are key partners, and India values this relationship, this partnership, which is a strategic partnership between the two countries, and therefore both countries are trying to resolve the issues. And today also, if you see, U.S. President Donald Trump made a Truth Social post, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi responded via Truth Social. But both leaders, for the first time, they both, agreed, and they expressed their willingness that they will be making a phone call, they will be talking to each other, and that phone call is going to set the tone for the future course of the relationship, how both countries are going to approach various issues. Look, India and United States are comprehensive global strategic partners, and they have their various aspects of this relationship, and not only in terms of the trade, but in terms of the visas, in terms of the various other aspects, how India and United States are going to collaborate, how India and United States are going to partner with each other. That phone call is going to decide the course of the partnership.
Right, that phone call, very, very critical, crucial phone call, Pranay, that you were speaking about. Over the past many years, Pranay, we have seen many hugs, many smiles, many big ticket events like Howdy Modi, Namaste Trump. All those things have happened over the course of the past many years. But do you believe, realistically speaking, it will still take some time for the relationships to come out? Because we have seen our Operation Sindoor has been a big bone of contention. The US president has spoken not at one place but at multiple forums, saying that it was the United States of America because of which the ceasefire took place between India and Pakistan. So that is a very, very tricky issue that still remains.
You're absolutely right. There is a cautious optimism, and if you know that in the Indian psyche, the way Indian government works, and the way we take any relationship, any bilateral relationship with any other country. Look, this has actually made a dent. We cannot deny the fact, but there is a pragmatism. There is a real politic involved here. We have to acknowledge the fact that the partnership with the United States has various aspects to it. This is a strategic partnership, and in the current turbulent phase of the global politics, it is important for India, and also India values this relationship, and therefore there is a rapprochement. There is a feeling that this need to be repaired. But if you also notice of late, not only that US President Donald Trump made certain positive remarks about India of late in last 2 weeks, he did not mention the ceasefire or Operation Sindoor or his so-called brokered peace deal. So if you read some positivity, some indication in it, then we have to acknowledge the fact that he did not mention, though he has mentioned it umpteen times, and we cannot deny the fact that he can mention it again as well. So that remains the factor of unpredictability with US President Donald Trump, and especially a politician like him, which is unconventional politician. But this is how his politics is.
Pranay, expect the unexpected. This is something which, the world was very clearly looking at when Donald Trump became the US president. And that's exactly what, the world at the moment believes, that this is something which we will see in days to come also. Thank you, Pranay, giving us all those details, putting things in perspective.